Congressman Barney Frank. He's a CNBC contributor in studio today, and Club for Growth president, and also former U.S. Congressman Dave McIntosh. And we're setting something up where I'm not sure you gentlemen will disagree on whether short-term tariffs can be effective or not. From what I read, Congressman, what you said, I think you think that if it was done correctly, that it could be a tool that could be used to try to get some concessions from China. Is that fair to say?
Look, this goes back in substantial part to our getting China into the WTO under the false promise that they would go to a market economy and the wishful thinking that it might democratize them. I voted against that. So I am not changing any position on this. I do think that you have a right to do tariffs as a retaliation and that they're a good bargaining tool. My problem with President Trump is that he's undercut that by announcing that he likes tariffs. He's a tariff guy. He believes that they bring a lot of money into the United States government, but that American consumers don't pay anything. So, yeah, if that were the strategy. Oh, and one other problem, which is if you're trying to do that well, you focus on China. He's picked tariff debates with everybody, and that confuses it. So properly executed, I think a strategy, particularly with China, which has been abusive, of saying we're going to retaliate, makes sense.
All right, Congressman McIntosh, so a lot of times gentlemen or individuals that are on your side of the aisle, I mean, I heard Chuck Schumer say, stay tough, Mr. President. So sometimes the right is even more anti-tariff than I don't know how we set up a debate. It's not the normal, it's not the normal teams that we have. So you think, but even you think that short term, there was little left for this administration to do if it wanted to try to change China's behaviors. Little left.
And I'm a supporter of trade with China. I voted for the WTO bill when Barney and I were both in Congress together. But I think the president is taking an approach of using these tariffs to negotiate, as Barney pointed out. And there's a cost to that. And the cost is borne by the American consumers. You look at statements from companies like Walmart that essentially provide most of the less expensive goods for the Trump voter across America, and they're saying these tariffs are going to cause us to have to raise prices. We're also seeing $1.6 billion a month in direct costs to American consumers with the higher taxes that are paid in these tariffs. So there's a real cost to this type of negotiation, and it's borne by the American people. I think the president's strategy is be tough with China, force them back to the table, let them know that he won't accept a save face type agreement. It has to be a real agreement. My hope is that they get to that sooner rather than later so that that ongoing cost to the American people doesn't continue. Keeping a trade war with high tariffs is the least best alternative, if you will, among all the different choices between the two nations face.
I think about even if it is a tax, Congressman, there are times when even both parties realize that maybe a tax is one way to approach a problem that we have, or a solution, or something. So you're always, Andrew, you're always ready for taxes for entitlements or education or whatever. What if this tax on China is to bring them into the 21st century in terms of, why not say it's okay? You like taxes, why not?
And I just know national strategy on the other side of it.
I just want to say, first of all, that I'm very happy to be here with Joe yelling at me for not being for more taxes. I appreciate that. But
I haven't yelled?
No, you didn't yell. You just sneered. But the point is, he's doing it badly. Again, I voted against the WTO. The WTO, and that's a large part, the reaction of that is part of what got Donald Trump elected. The WTO, by virtual consensus among economists, did more to cause jobs for working people at middle-level skills, than any other single thing. The problem with Trump's strategy is this. First of all, tariffs can help you stop tariffs, but he has a much broader agenda than China. He should. The Chinese subsidy and intellectual property theft is terrible, but you don't get at that with tariffs.
Are you arguing against globalization?
I am arguing against globalization if you do not accompany it with measures that provide for the people who are hurt by it. Globalization, trade
Joe, if I could interject for a second. The WTO has been a tremendous benefit to the U.S. economy for more than a decade, adding wealth and GDP growth throughout
Yeah,
that whole
but
period.
not with China. Dave, I
No,
agree
but-
with that.
But overall, it's been great for the U.S. economy, and that's what we have to get back to.
Dave, that's a false choice. The question is not against the WTO.
No, the U.S. economy, I'll choose that
Dave,
anytime.
let me finish, please.
Yeah, sure.
The question was China, should China have been put in? They don't have a market economy. They are not doing that. Trump, to his credit, is trying to push for that. But he confuses the issue with the tariffs. But the point is, this is not about the WTO. It's about letting China get the benefits of the WTO while denying them for their own economy. And here's the problem. First of all, Trump does confuse them. He says he likes tariffs. He is not saying that these are just a bargaining tool. He's a tariff guy, he says. He likes tariffs. They're bringing us money. But secondly, he has got an agenda that goes beyond tariffs on the other side. Now, I'm for that. But tariffs alone aren't going to force the Chinese to change their economy, basically. I'm for that.
Congressman,
Barney,
we got 30 seconds.
Sure.
Less.
Let me say Republicans who don't like tax increases have come to the similar position in the sense of supporting the president. Pat Toomey, the author, or really proponent, biggest driver of it, just said he agreed with the president's approach on this.
All right, very good. I want to say, Congressman.